Disclaimer on this episode, I had a technical difficulty. I'm so sorry, but I don't want to waste such a great episode with this amazing guest. So please don't destroy me, because obviously these things happen and I'm not just going to throw them in the bin. I'm not going to redo them because it's not as authentic. So just bear with, okay? Sometimes the mics fuck up, sometimes the camera will fuck up. You just gotta take the L and carry on. So I've done my best to do the editing on this. Obviously I'm not a professional, so yeah, but be kind, okay? Because this is a really good episode, and I just wanted to give the disclaimer that one of the mics decided not to record for a lot of the duration of the episode, which is gonna show a bit of distortion, but I might not even use this video. It depends on how confident I am with my low editing skills, but I might get really good at it by the time this is out. I don't know. But yeah.
For the sheer scope of grief and wasted human potential, we have a moral obligation to understand the ultimate reasons why we destroy one.
Welcome back to my podcast. Today I have a very special guest. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Daisy. I'm 26. I just got back about 2 weeks ago to England after 3 months of travelling around Europe in my van.
And all the months before.
Yeah. I was living before, and before that I was living in my van in England, and then before that I travelled to Spain and Portugal, and before that I travelled Asia. And yeah, travelling is like my thing. Really into a bit like hippie-ish, health stuff. Yeah.
You're like my version of an influencer. Like, I know you don't paint yourself as an influencer,
No,
but
definitely not.
You're like, my
3,000
ideal
followers.
But you are my ideal influencer. Like, I think you provide more healthy advice and you're more raw with your like things you've been through, which
I
is
try
not
to
been easy.
be. I try to be, because I don't want to paint out like my life is perfect and everything's easy and I'm always happy and like everything's always great. This is definitely not the case.
No.
Like, no. Like, even when I'm travelling and having the best time, still there's hard moments and hard times, and it's not all happy.
No.
So I try to make
Very
that
realistic.
clear. Yeah, because otherwise, because I look at other people's Instagrams and I think, well, what's wrong with me? Like, when someone's just showing themselves having the most amazing time all the time,
Yeah.
I think, what's wrong with me?
There's a more
Because that's not me. Yes, please. Yeah, so I wouldn't want somebody else to look at my stories or look at my, obviously Instagram is just one side of life. You can't understand someone's life from Instagram, but I wouldn't want someone to look at everything that I post and think, oh, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
I don't have that life, so something's wrong, or I'm not successful, or whatever. So yeah, I try to share the good
Yeah.
and the bad.
And you're very independent.
Yes.
Which is something
Too much.
I think is such a beautiful thing though, because I think it's not like, sometimes it's over glamorized to be independent.
Yes.
But I think you express it in a very like honest way.
Yeah, it is good. I think it's good to be independent, especially as a girl. It's nice to be...
It's empowering.
Yeah, to be able to do things on your own and be independent and, you know, self-sufficient and resilient is really important. But also, life is all about other people and relationships, so you have to learn when to rely on other people and that you can trust other people.
Yeah,
sometimes.
which is really scary.
Yes, it is. It's very scary.
Because the first time I let Alex in, I was not very open to it at all.
No.
I was very closed off.
Yeah. See, I'm really open in terms of talking to people, being vulnerable, open about my life. If someone wants to ask me something, I'll answer it. But in terms of actually letting someone in and trusting someone to like take care of things for you. Like I'm used to organising everything myself, doing everything myself, not having to wait around for other people, rely on other people. So
especially if people have like let you down before, or if you've relied on someone, they've not done it the way you've asked.
Yeah, because I'm quite particular as well. I'm like,
same.
I want things done a certain way. So learning to let that go a little bit, and that, you can rely on other people, and
When did you first start going travelling or want to?
I always knew that always. I remember I went to uni in Northampton to do an art and design diploma when I was 18, and I did that for a year because my course was just a year.
Yeah.
So I did that for a year, and then normally what happens is you do your foundation diploma and then people decide to go off and do the degree or not to, and I was just wanting to travel, and I knew that was what I wanted to do, and I thought, if I go to uni for 3 years, that's 3 years gone, then when I get out I'll be 21 and broke, so I won't be able to go travelling then.
Yeah.
And that's like, when am I going to be able to go travelling? That's all I really know that I want to do.
Yeah.
It was the only thing that I was really sure of. So after uni, did that 1 year, then went and got a marketing apprenticeship.
Oh, that's really cool.
Did that for a year, got my diploma, and then got hired at the place where I had my apprenticeship. Worked there for like 2 more years, and then when I was 22, went on my first set of travels. I kind of got to my end of, like, I wasn't enjoying the job anymore, and I knew that I wanted to travel, and I'd been saving up my money, so I had enough to go. I had a car, I sold my car, and then...
Did you take a lot of cash with you when you went travelling?
I saved up quite a bit of money, I thought I'd go for 6 months, and I ended up staying for 9 months because I was travelling around like Southeast Asia, and it's so cheap there, especially at the time that I went, which was like 22, I'm 26, almost 4 years ago. It was even cheaper. So I was able to stay longer than I thought I would. So I ended up staying for like 9 months, which was
so nice.
So good. And I was slumming it as well. My style of travelling is not like fluffy, beautiful.
You want to be like a local?
Instagrammy, like spending loads of money.
Yeah.
No, I was staying in £3 hostels, eating cheap food. Yeah, I wasn't spending money on going and doing things. I was just doing free things, like going and visiting tourist attractions, going to the beach, making friends, that kind of stuff. I wasn't paying to do crazy water sports or like big trips or riding on elephants. Not if you're going for a long time. I think if you're going for a holiday, maybe that's what you want to do, but that was not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I think on holidays I like doing that sort of stuff, but if I was to go travelling, it's more about the lifestyle. Yeah, well, it becomes your life. It's not, you know, when you go on holiday and you're like, I'm going to eat everything, I'm going to drink everything because it's 2 weeks, I'm going to have the best time that I can possibly have, and then I'll go back to my normal life. When you're doing it for 9 months, it becomes normal life, so you have to rein it in a bit and budget. So yeah, I did that when I was 22 for 9 months, turned 23 when I was out there, got back, worked at the company that I was working at, again, freelance. And then COVID happened. That was awful.
That was super crazy.
Wasn't you away when that happened?
So when because there was the first time that it was really bad, and then everything stopped and everyone was able to go on holiday again. So I went away with my friends to Spain for a 2-week holiday. And whilst we were out there, England went into lockdown again, but Spain wasn't in lockdown. And I was freelancing and I had my own massage business at that point, so I didn't have a job to go back that I had to go back to.
Yeah, you had it with you.
Yeah, so yeah, I remember speaking to my friends and being like, oh, I think I'm not going to get the flight back with you guys.
I'm going to stay.
Yeah, I was staying in my granddad's apartment. He wasn't there, so I had free accommodation.
Which is always good.
Yeah, I was like, there's no need for me to go back. I'll just stay a couple more weeks. Like, fast forward 7 months.
Yeah.
And I was living in Portugal. Because I was in Spain. So I did that. Lived in Spain for about 3 or 4 months. And then went to Portugal for 3 or 4 months. And then eventually decided to come home. And then I was home for a while. Like, over a year. And then I had a load of stuff go on last year, dealt with that, and then after I'd always wanted to buy a van and travel in a camper van, and I was just like, fuck it.
Bring your own home everywhere.
Yeah, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. Like,
but that was expensive.
Yeah, getting the van is expensive, and then obviously the price of diesel
is ridiculous.
It's painful. It was better in the other countries that I went to, thank God. Like when I got to France, it was cheaper.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I was so happy, but it's expensive. But again, like I wasn't living that super glamorous life. I was budgeting, I was cooking my own cheap dinners. I did eat out and stuff at first because, yeah.
It's nice to treat yourself sometimes.
Yeah, went out to eat in some places, but yeah, and again, I didn't spend money on like experiences. I would just turn up in a city and just spend the whole day walking around the city.
Yeah.
But that's enough for me. Just walking around, looking at the buildings, getting a feel for the place.
Alex and I love doing that because there's like loads of shows in different cities, so we just do that the next day.
Yeah.
Especially if we don't drink, we're more refreshed. We sometimes like grab something to eat, but apart from that, we just love exploring.
Yeah, in the daytime as well. I love it, and there's so many beautiful cities, and you don't need to spend money to have a good time. You can just go around, and there's so much free stuff to do, and if you research properly. And I didn't stay in campsites really. There was one campsite that I stayed in, but I was parking in free spots, so I wasn't spending money on that. My van has like solar panels, so I didn't have to pay for like electric and this kind of thing. So
did the solar panels like stop the battery dying as well?
So I have like an inverter. The guy explained it to me. I'm not very... The thing is, before I bought the van, I knew nothing about vans. I was like, how am I going to do this? And then I saw one I liked, and all the ones I liked, they kept selling out so quick, and I just said to myself, the next one I see, I'm just going to buy it. Yeah. Did you do all the build yourself as well? No. Okay. So I got it all done, and yeah, I didn't know anything about it, but it's called an inverter, so when you drive, it charges the battery. Oh, okay. That's good. Like to do all your electrics, and then I've got the solar panel as well, so I never ever ran out of electricity. That's really good. So yeah, I bet it's just hard to keep a bit warm. That was the problem. Yeah, I mean it wasn't a problem when I was in Europe because it didn't. No. There was a couple nights towards the end where it got cold, but yeah, I can't stay in it now. No, especially not here. No. The UK is freezing. Yeah, you can get heaters, but they cost a lot of money to run though. I was looking at a diesel heater, but I'm just like, it's just not the time right now, and I'm not living in it, and probably when I start living it, and again, hopefully it'll be getting better weather. Yeah. So. And in the summer here, it's like still a bit nippy at night. It gets so hot in that van. Does it? It gets roasting. Like a greenhouse. You know that day we had the hottest day where it was like 40 degrees? For like 2 days in a row. It was like 40 degrees in my van, and I was delirious. And I was texting my mum, and she was like, "You're not making any sense. You need to go and get some air conditioning." And I was like, "Oh, it was so hot." Yeah, not fun. Is it easy to stay in places in the UK with a van then? So I'm trying to think where I stayed in the UK, there was a couple places where I went where I paid like £5 a night or something. Which isn't too bad. No, it's pretty good, £5 or £10 a night. There's like a place near here, just like a really nice field that's so beautiful. And then I found another spot. So there was a couple spots where I would go and pay to stay because they had like showers and toilets and everything, so it was nice. That's really handy. Yeah. But a lot of the times I was around like a woodlandy kind of area, and I just used to park my van there, and I never had any trouble. Yeah. But there was no one else really using it, so it wasn't like a camper van. Like there's not really anyone else living in a van in Milton Keynes. People living in a van go to like Cornwall and nice places.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I don't know what it's like van life in other areas of the UK now. I did a couple trips. I went to Wales with my mum.
Wales is stunning.
So nice. But there, when I stayed the night, I paid somewhere. And I went somewhere with my cousin and like Durdledore.
Okay. I've never been there, but I know about it.
Yeah, you know, like, it's really, I always see pictures of it, and I really wanted to go, so we went there.
I think my friend goes there quite often, just like a happy place.
Yeah, it's so nice. But there's an app called Park for Night, which is like the app that all people who live in a van have, and if you look on there, then it throws up all the parking options for where you are, and it gives you like free parking spots, camping spots, paid spots.
That's
so
really
you
handy.
can find places on there. So yeah, so when you look at that, you can find spots. But I don't really know about van life in the UK because I just kind of stayed around here, and I had my spots where I knew where to go. And yeah,
I remember when Alex and we were looking at getting a van, and they were like 80, 100k for a van.
Oh my god, no.
We were like,
no. You need to get a crappy little van, like second hand. I was even looking the other day on Facebook Marketplace, and I found because I've got like a massive transit van. Because I think the ones that are really expensive are like the Instagram Mercedes Sprinters, fully kitted out, like brand new. I don't have that kind of van. My van is like 2010
so
transit, like 120 miles on it. So
not bad though.
No, but I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and there was a van exactly identical to mine, and the guy had started converting it, and then something had happened and he wasn't doing it anymore. But it was like $3,500.
That's so good.
You can get cheap vans, you just have to
keep looking.
Look, and you have to be realistic. I think everyone sees those vans on Instagram, like the Instagram van life, where people have like showers and toilets, and
crazy.
It's fully kitted out, and everything is new and everything is beautiful. Which, if that's what you can afford, then cool. But that wasn't my budget.
No.
So,
and with all that stuff in it, surely it'd break down a lot.
you have to fill up the water, and
that's a lot.
Yeah.
I'd rather just have a big bottle of water, shower myself outside.
I had a little like pump shower that I got from Decathlon for like 20 quid or something. You fill it up with water, and then you pump air into it, which puts pressure in, and then it's got like a little shower head.
Oh, that's so cool.
That did the trick.
Yeah,
it was fine.
Oh, that's so good.
When I was like needing something, that worked. But when I was in Europe, like in Spain and France, there's showers on the beaches and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So
don't even need all that.
No, and sometimes I stayed in cheap campsites. Like I'd go in a campsite once or twice a week, just to like have a really good like proper shower.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I was just slumming it. Yeah.
Every now and again, just treat yourself.
Yeah. Wash my hair like every 2 weeks or something.
Someone actually told me recently, it was actually a guy, and he said that he never ever puts shampoo in his hair. And I was like, what? And it turns out if you don't shampoo your hair for like a month,
then
you'll never need to.
It starts like, that's why I try not to like wash it too much though. Even now. That's like
probably maximum wash my hair twice a week.
Yeah, twice a week. That's all you need.
But
slick back bun. Problem solved.
I try and do it just once, but sometimes because it's so long, it gets really heavy.
Yeah.
So
also, if you're like me, you have fine hair, so it gets like greasy quickly.
Very.
But yeah, I used to wash it every day, and now I'm like, no, I would never do that.
So I could never wash my hair every day because when I try, it gets too heavy. It gets too much product stuck in it.
Yeah.
So I have to leave it a couple of days.
Yeah, no,
which is a positive.
Yeah. I'm just like, because especially now and before, I worked in hospitality, and you always have to have your hair up. So I was like, wash it on the days where I have a day off so it can look nice. Otherwise, it's just getting scraped back anyway. So
no need to wash it.
No problems.
No. What would you also define as independence?
Oh gosh.
Like, what is independence to you?
I guess there's different levels to it. Like having financial stability and independence, I think, is an important thing.
Absolutely.
Not having to rely on somebody else for money to bail yourself out. Like, to be able to support yourself like that is really, really important, because if you can't do that, then you are like stuck to other people and reliant on other people and chained to other people, and you know, feeling like you owe people things, and
you feel guilty as well.
Yeah, that's really hard. So I think it's important to have, if obviously it's not possible for everyone, and I 100% know that I'm extremely privileged, and like, we live in a country where, okay, things are like crazy now, but our minimum wage is pretty good, and we can, you know, if you work, you can get enough to support yourself if it's just you. I'm lucky. I'm just me. I don't have to pay for kids. I don't have to pay for anyone else.
Oh yeah, I don't know how they do it.
No, it's crazy. But I think having that financial independence is nice and important, and that allows you to be independent in other ways, because then you don't have, you know,
you can make your own choices.
You're free to make your own choices because you're not beholden to anyone else.
Yeah.
And I don't think like independence has anything to do with being single or anything like that, because it's just about, you know, having the free will to make your own decisions. And
a lot of people cannot make their own decisions though. So I do agree with like being able to make your own decisions,
make your own choices, but that is like, I'm lucky. I'm just on my own in terms of I don't have kids or anyone else to support, and I have a job where I get paid enough, and so I can have my independence. So I appreciate that not everyone has that, but just being able to make your own choices and feeling free to do so.
And what would you like recommend people if they wanted to travel the way you have? Because I'm always up to date. I'm like watching all your stories. I'm like, these are stunning places.
Yeah, it's so fun. Like, save. Save.
Which is the hardest part, I think.
Yeah,
trying to save money can be so difficult sometimes.
That's what I mean. Like, I want to be careful when I like talk about this kind of thing, because it's just not realistic for some people. I'm very, very lucky. I started working when I was 16. I've never been out of work. When I was out of work, it was a choice. Like, when I was going travelling, if I was in trouble with money or something, my mum is amazing and has supported me, and she's great, and I lived with her until now pretty much. I didn't have to pay rent, so I was able to save, but obviously not everyone is in that position, so that's just, I don't want to tell people that everyone can do it and it's so easy to do, you're just not working hard enough, because it's just not true.
It's not true, is it?
No, not at all.
Some of these influencers have no idea.
I know, like, people post stuff like about these jobs and all this stuff, and you see people being digital nomads, and like, that's a big thing.
I was in that deep pool of TikTok at one point. Like, I want to do that, and I looked into it and I was like, it doesn't look that easy.
These people promoting this lifestyle, they don't acknowledge that they were in an incredibly like privileged place to start with. And not everyone can just quit their job and travel. Like, people say it like it's a choice. Like, in you know, not
like everyone has that choice.
Yeah, like, sorry, everyone doesn't have that choice. It's not available to everyone. But if you want to travel, there's always ways to do it. And one thing that would be really good if people are looking to travel and they maybe don't have such a big budget is look at volunteer programs. So not the ones. There's ones where you have to pay and they're not legit, like, they're not good, but if people look on, there's a website called Workaway, and that is like a volunteer program where it lists loads of places. You can just search where you want to go, like a country, a place in a country, and then it will throw up loads of opportunities, like looking after kids, working on the land, working in hostels, and in return for working like 5 hours a day. It's not like a job normally where you have to work 8 hours a day. It's a couple of hours of work a day, and normally what you'll get is free accommodation and 3 meals a day.
That's pretty good.
So if people are like low budget trying to travel, I'd say that is a really, really good way to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that you could do that.
Yeah, it's amazing. My best friend who's travelling at the minute, she's actually been doing some volunteering stuff, and it's great. She's not spent a penny when she's doing the volunteering.
That's so good.
And it's been really good. She's worked at hostels, she worked on like a farm, and yeah, she got accommodation and meals, and she met lots of other like-minded, really cool people. And yeah, I would just, but if you're in the position to travel like financially and you're nervous, I'll just say just do it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Just take the jump.
Yeah.
The worst thing that could happen is you go out there, have a horrible time, decide you don't like it, and come back.
Yeah, that's so true.
You can come back. People will think once they've gone travelling that they have to stick it out. You don't have to. You can come home, and when you come home, everything will be the exact same as when you left.
Yeah.
Because that's
nothing
always what it's like.
Here.
No, nothing changes. You come back and everything's still there, and you just slot right back into life. Mm-hmm. So if people are nervous about it, I just say to do it. Do research, but also don't do too much research, because it gets to a point where you're just looking and
you'll be too
you like paralyse yourself to go and do something. But even now though, I'm like, oh my god, when I look back at when I was 22 and I just booked a one-way ticket to Cambodia, I'm like, how did I do that?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
it sounds so scary. Doing it like that.
Yeah, but when I first went out there, I went and stayed on like a retreat for like 2 months. It was like this yoga retreat kind of thing.
Is that where you learn how to be a masseuse?
No, that was in Thailand. So I started on this retreat because I knew I wasn't going to have the confidence at first to go out and do it all on my own. So I went to this retreat and I was there and everything was sorted out, and you met loads of people, and
that's cool.
I got used to the climate, I got used to the culture, and then I had my confidence to travel onwards from that. So I'd say maybe if you're nervous about going out, to book volunteering straight away, because then you can stay somewhere, you know you're going to get fed, you know you're going to meet people, and the best way, you can research on the internet all day long, but when you go out there and start talking to other people,
that's
you realise you're not and you realise you're not alone. And there's loads of people in the same position. So yeah.
Do you think it was like really beneficial going travelling as well?
Yeah, 100%. So many people I met and so many experiences that I'll have for life, and I learnt so much and realised how much opportunities there are out there outside of your hometown.
Yeah.
And how big the world is. It makes you see past yourself as well, and to experience such a different culture, I think was really good as well.
That's what makes me so curious, because I love meeting new people. I like to understand other cultures, and I don't give myself that opportunity that often, because I'm personally not in the financial position to be able to do it, and also if I was to come home, I haven't got a home to come home to. So that's also what stopped me.
Because see, that's the thing, that's why I'm saying, like, it's just not that easy for everyone to just up and travel.
Whereas I think if a lot of people are in a position where they're staying at home and they could have somewhere to come back to, that's where I'd be like, right, that's your opportunity if you want to travel. Just because unless you have a home prepped, ready to rent when you come back, which is unlikely. Because they've got to do all these checks, they've got to do all this stuff. It's very stressful.
I know, I'm so lucky now. I'm just about to move into a room, but it's with a friend. Otherwise, I don't think I'd have found something. Because I'm just not in the position right now.
And also, to rent, they expect a lot. They do expect a lot of you. Like, when I was first moving out, I was only 19, because my mum had kicked me out, and I had to have earned, like, 21k a year to be able to rent, like, a £600 a month place, which is not easy to find around here. Like, you have to find something that's like probably at least £100-200 more than that, and that's just for like a small little place like this, and this is cheap for Stony Stratford. Whereas like I rented a studio apartment apartment, it was a flat.
Right.
In New Bradwell, which was not far off the size of this whole room. It had like a tiny little kitchen in it. I could fit my bed in it. My sofa was against my bed. And like I just never unpacked anything. So it's obviously temporary.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of a hoarder. So I didn't want to get rid of any of my stuff. And that was like I think it was $650 or $600 a month. And
everywhere's way more now.
Yeah,
so
everything's so much more. Like the first place I rented was $750, and that was an apartment down the road, and that was lush. Like that was so nice.
Yeah.
And this is not far off that price.
Yeah.
So it really goes to show like how expensive it is, because that's just the rent by itself, and that's cheap rent. Like round here, that is really cheap. Yeah. Which is ridiculous. Because how am I paying that much a month just for rent alone?
It's crazy. But this is why, as well. It's crazy because in some of these countries you go to, rent is so much cheaper. Like you can go to Thailand, and if you do like a TEFL, which is like an English teaching qualification, you can get a good job teaching English. Then you can rent a place for like 200, 300 quid per month.
That's mental.
And get a good wage as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would also say to people, if you can, don't rush to move out of your parents' house or whatever situation you're in, because you will save so much money. And once you move out, it's really hard to save money.
Yeah, it is.
So I think there's like this pressure on people to move out and like live in their own place, and like this societal pressure, and like just to be independent in that way and be living on your own and have a really nice flat and a really nice car, and people go and spend money on like that kind of stuff, and then of course you're not going to be able to save to travel.
I've never been able to save since I've moved out. I mean, I've made it worse myself as well because I got a credit card.
I've never ever...
Don't recommend it.
No.
I mean, in COVID, it saved my arse.
Yeah.
It really did, but it put me in a fuckload of debt. And I had to take out a loan.
Oh my god.
But I paid the loan off now.
Well done.
This month.
Congrats. That gives me like anxiety.
Yeah.
You telling me that.
It was awful. But that's because I was paid like a decent wage plus commission. And in COVID, I wasn't paid any of the commission whatsoever. Which I thought I'd be fine for, because I thought you were meant to get, because it was like a regular thing. Yeah. But it wasn't. Yeah, so I was getting like probably about 50-60% of my wages, and it just doesn't cover even the rent. Yeah. Like the rent alone is expensive. And then you've got like when you rent, you have to pay like, I think it might be different in like house share, and I think it's different when you own a house, because that's like up to you and up to the person that owns the property. But in like a flat or a house that you rent, you have to pay house insurance. You have to pay like obviously water, gas, electric. I mean, to be fair, I've never paid gas. I've always had electric properties.
Okay. I thought you were about to confess you were like doing some like trick with the gas meter. I was like, maybe you shouldn't say that on here.
To be fair, the trick is don't have a smart meter.
Okay.
That is the trick. Yeah? Because my bills have not increased that much. Okay. And everyone's like, oh my god, mine have tripled. And mine tripled for like 1 month. Yeah. And then it went straight back down. And I gave them a meter reader and they were like, yeah, it's all fine. Perfect. But they still go, you need a smart meter. And I'm like, never home. No, I don't want They won't fit it if you're not here. Yeah. So I just say I'm not here. I'm never here, I'm always at work trying to pay the bills. Yeah. And I don't pay for TV. I use someone else's Netflix. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I'm always on other people's Netflix. Yeah. And to be fair, it's not even that expensive paying for it. But I don't have to pay it. But the thing is, these little things add up. And if you're trying to save, you've got to scrimp where you can. Absolutely. Like... Yeah, that's why I'm a hoarder as well. You've got to cancel those subscriptions. You've got to... no. If you're trying to save, those little things help. And honestly, the way that I save for travelling is I stop drinking. I stop going out. Anymore. If you're someone that goes out and spends, because people do, like between like minimum £100. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So people go out, they spend 100 quid on the weekend. Okay, so imagine you stop going out. You're going to save 400 quid a month. In a year, so much money. You can save over 4 grand. Yeah, you can do a lot with 4 grand. You can go to Asia for like 3 months. That's so good. 4 grand. Longer probably. Yeah. Like, especially if you volunteer.
So I always say to people, like, when
Stop
people
going out.
always say to me, like,
Or just drink at home.
Yeah, just become an alcoholic at home.
That's what I did in COVID.
Yeah, a lot of people. People either went one way or the other. I was completely, like...
So I used to smoke, so
sober.
I quit smoking
Yeah.
and then replaced it with drinking, which is not the best idea.
No.
It caused me a ton of issues, like anxiety. Real bad anxiety.
That's why I don't drink, because like, the next day I feel terrible.
Yeah.
I get the booze blues. Bad. Really bad.
Yeah, and I think, oh my god, what did I do?
Yeah.
I never used to feel like that.
I feel like I'm the worst person in the world. No.
And it got to a point where I was drinking, that I was drinking excessively, and I started blacking out, and that never happened to me, even when I was, like, a child. When I was, like, younger, when I used to go drinking in a park or whatever, I never ever
British
blacked
culture.
out. Yeah, down the river. But, like, I never ever blacked out drunk. I never ever got in that state around other people.
Yeah.
Unless I was, like, at home with my mum or something.
Yeah.
But, like, I'd never ever blacked out. So when one morning I remember waking up and I was like, where's the bedding? And Alex was like, you literally threw up in your sleep.
Oh,
and I was
perfect.
I was like, oh, that's so embarrassing. And I was like, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
And then it happened a couple more times and I was like, I've got to cut this out.
Yeah,
Because it's freaking me out.
Yeah.
And like, I remember one time he was like, yeah, you were really mean to the taxi driver. And I was like,
Oh,
why?
no.
Yeah, I know. And he was like, you kept telling him that he was taking you to the wrong place and that you thought he was like stitching you up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of get why I felt that way, but I should have spoke to someone like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you're taking us the wrong way, you're mugging us off. It was so bad. And I don't remember any of it. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Awful.
No, I don't.
If you talk to yourself and overshare just as much as I do, you're probably thinking, I should start a podcast. I absolutely love having a podcast. I get to meet great guests and get to know people on such an intimate level. And even with my solo episodes, I can treat it just like a diary. You're probably freaking out thinking, how do I get started? Who's going to help me? What do I need? Where am I going to put it? How do I do this? How do I do that? I was just as stressed as this. You can use equipment you already have. All you really need is a mic and something to record it on. And you'll need to find a platform to be able to upload your podcast. Podcasting is the best thing right now. Get your personality out there. Get talking. It's inexpensive and it's so easy to do. I don't mind teaching you how to do it, but Buzzsprout is the best at teaching you everything you need to know and all the tools you need to use. You'll get a professional looking website, which is a bonus, that also displays all the different directories where you can listen to your podcast. That includes Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and all the major directories that you would want to upload it to. You can also create short clips, audios to put into websites, and also other audio clips that you want to upload onto like social media, which is really good for promoting the podcast. I've had a ton of people that click through onto my podcast just from those audio clips I have uploaded in the past. You get tons and tons of guides and information and advice on how to make your podcast successful. And you get detailed analytics so you can find out where is listening the most, what's the most listened to episode. And you also get encouragements of little milestones, which I find motivating. I get little medals. Use the link in the show notes to get $20 credit if you sign up for a paid plan. Using my link helps support my podcast and also gives you $20 credit. So choose Buzzsprout. It is the easiest way to get started.
As well, the drinking culture in England is so like, people drink to get smashed.
Oh yeah.
People don't drink and just go to the pub and just, like, when I was in like Spain and Portugal, like they drink in a completely different way. They'll go out,
about that.
have like 1 or 2 beers, a wine, have a nice time. They'll all sit. What I found so weird is I was at this, went to this friend's house in Valencia, and we were all sat around like having drinks and stuff. And I was looking around, and everyone was just having conversations. No one was shouting over each other. It wasn't like rah, rah. Everyone was just sat to the person next to them having a conversation. And I was like, this is so weird. So civilised. People are not off their face. People are just having a nice chat.
No one's getting on tables.
No one's shouting over each other. But like here it's completely different. You go out and get absolutely like trolleyed. Don't have a conversation with anyone. Everyone's just screaming.
It's so dramatic every time.
Yeah. So no, I don't drink that much
Yeah,
anymore.
I've heard a lot, like, we're the only culture or country that drink like that.
Yeah, I
Apparently
mean,
it's really weird to other people.
I think so. You just, yeah.
And it makes sense when you, like, think about it. You think, why do we drink to get that drunk? It's funny sometimes.
Yeah,
but
it's just like the norm. I don't know. It's the norm, but it's not normal.
No, and whenever I drink now, I feel like I'm abusing myself. It feels like so strange.
I feel rough.
Yeah,
Really
I don't enjoy it the
wanna
same.
inflict that on myself.
No.
Like, I hate being hungover.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. Like, I just want to, like, after a day of drinking, I want to go out for a walk, and I can't even bring myself to, like, get out unless everyone else around me is doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know.
I just love, like, waking up feeling fresh.
Going out,
and now,
getting up
like,
for the
my
day.
hangovers, like, it's not even one day. They start, like, knocking on to the next days, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And then it takes you a while to recover, and then by the time you realise that you've got, like, missed 5 days, and you've, like, just felt shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it used to feel like whenever I'd ever come down.
Yeah. Just not fun.
But I used to feel, like, real bad on that sort of stuff. I
Yeah.
used to feel like I wanted to end my life and shit.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wasn't going to, but it'd feel like that.
Yeah.
But, like, this is how I would feel
And it
better.
feels real
Yeah.
in the moment. And then, like, it's like when you're in your period or something.
Oh, yeah. So dramatic.
I'm, like, crying for 3 days, and then I'm like, oh,
Made
just
sense.
my period. Yeah.
I also think that's something that's not really, like... I think it's not very educated when we're growing up, like, how to manage our own cycles and stuff.
No, definitely not.
Because I still don't know. But a lot of people have been giving me advice because my cycle has never, ever been regular or...
Are you on contraception?
I come off a couple of months ago just to try and bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring it back to normal, because it was never normal before. I went on contraception when I was about 14.
As so many people have in England, and now we're all got these problems.
Yeah.
And it's like, probably because we've been on, like, weird hormone things and not had proper periods since we were, like, 13, 14.
Yeah.
And we like wonder why we have all these issues. I'm like, surely that's something to do with it.
Yeah, I think, like, the reason I went on is because I used to get migraines constantly, and they were really bad. Like, they were almost paralysing.
Yeah.
And the doctor, I think at one point it got so bad.
What, migraines because of your period?
Yeah. Whenever I'm stressed, I have a migraine, and it's like so dramatic because it lasts days, weeks,
migraines
sometimes.
are the worst.
Yeah.
Sorry if you've never got a migraine. Like,
they are privileged.
my mum knew someone who got a migraine the other day, but she'd never got a migraine before, and she went to A&E because she thought she, like,
had gonna die.
Yeah, she thought I can't remember what she thought she'd done, but she had, like, a visual migraine, and she thought she'd done something to her eyes, and they were like, no, this is just a migraine. And she was like, oh, my God.
No, this is awful.
Yeah, this is horrible. No, and there's literally nothing, it's not like a headache, you can take a tablet.
No.
I feel like for a migraine you have to lay in a dark room.
Yeah.
And just
be calm.
Yeah.
Like, try and get all... Because a lot of people get different triggers for migraines. Like, my partner's trigger is cocoa. Like, chocolate.
Oh.
Which I've never heard of before. I thought you made it up.
Okay. Yeah, I don't...
But mine is stress.
Yeah.
So, well, it's actually my hormones. It's actually estrogen.
Yeah.
So, when I was, like, 14, every time I'd get really stressed, which I was super stressed at that age.
Yeah.
Just because my home life is not the best. And, every time the hormone levels rise because I was so stressed, I'd get these, like, 2-week migraines, and sometimes I'd have to go to hospital just to, like, kill it off.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do it myself.
Yeah.
And then I think I had, like, a period for, like, 6 months straight, and the doctor was like, right, you're going to go on these meds the day you come off, and, well, the day you come back on, as such. So, by the time I'd finally come off and come back on, I'd never come off for, like, 7 years. But I still got migraines, just not as much.
Yeah.
And it was only, like, the last year, about a year ago, I was like, I really want to come off contraception. But, like, obviously I'm in a relationship now, and I'm active, and
I want to be safe.
yeah, like, I don't want to get pregnant.
I don't want a migraine, but I also don't want a baby.
Yeah. Exactly that. So I was really scared to come off, and then To be fair, it's such an irresponsible reason why I actually came off. But I was going to Ibiza and I was going to be on.
Right.
Because I was in Barcelona like 2 months before.
Okay.
And I was on the whole time.
Yeah.
I literally finished the day we flew back. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I had to stick to a black bikini the whole time just because the other ones were all bright colours.
Yeah,
At least with black, no one's going to see
Yeah.
it.
Just pure paranoid.
Yeah. And then in Ibiza, I was like, this is Ibiza. I've never been.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to just stop it.
Yeah.
So I come off my contraception and I didn't have a period for ages, for like a month or so.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is great. Bear in mind, the contraception I used was like, you never had periods at all.
Yeah, that's the one I was on the coil and I didn't have a period for like 6 years.
And
or
then
something,
in COVID,
how was that like?
yeah,
how was that good?
It can't be good,
No.
really. Like, it seems great when you're younger.
You're like, yeah, no periods, blah,
I love
blah,
my
blah.
life.
And then I'm like, I don't think that's healthy actually.
No, like, where are they going?
Yeah, what's happening?
Because
Surely
it's
my
still being
body
released, right?
Surely my body should, like, the body should be in a natural cycle of, like you say, that rhythm.
Yeah, but I never had that rhythm to begin with.
Yeah.
And then when...
But then they just stuck you on the pill. They didn't find the reason.
No, they didn't.
Or try to actually solve it. They just sort of put a band-aid on the situation.
Exactly. And like they changed the brand of the contraception because the Brook closed down. So I had to get it through the NHS.
Right.
And they were like, oh, it's the same, it's just a different brand, and it wasn't the same. It like also was a contributing factor to all my mental health issues that I'd never experienced before. Like, I was having panic attacks daily.
I know people that say that, like, they went on the pill and it turned them into, like,
loopy.
a monster.
Yeah. A lot of my friends have said the same thing about the pill I used to recommend. And I was like, oh, maybe it's not for you.
Yeah.
And it was so bad. And I finally came off and I was like, I think my anxiety and stuff chilled out loads. Because I used to get the heart palpitations all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what freaked me out more than any of the anxiety symptoms was the heart palpitations.
Yeah.
But I kept forgetting to remind myself that your heart beating is like obviously normal.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
your
quite
heart-
good. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. But I'd be ringing 111, like I can feel my heart, and they're like, you're supposed to.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
Yeah. I'm like, it's freaking me out, and they're like, it's normal, like your heart is supposed to be beating.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, but is it irregular? And then I'm like, I don't know. Is
Hang on a
it?
minute.
Yeah. And if you think it hard enough, it is irregular, and you're like, oh shit.
It's like convince yourself you're having a heart attack. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, and like when I told a friend about the first panic attack I had, they were like, "You had a stroke," and I was like, "No, I didn't." I looked in the mirror and I was like, "It wasn't a stroke." They were like, "You must have had a heart attack then," and I was like, "No, I think
What did it feel like?
the first
panic attack
one."
for you?
Oh, it was so bad. So I thought I'd had panic attacks before, but they were just my anxiety attacks where I'd get really irritable and it'd be really overwhelming. But the first panic attack I had was I was in bed. It was during COVID, like bang smack in the middle of lockdown. And it was probably the only night I hadn't drank that much. I think I'd had like 2 ciders, like around dinner time with my neighbour. And then I watched some telly, didn't go to bed till like, I don't know, midnight, 1. And I just couldn't sleep. And I've never been very good with sleeping anyway.
Yeah.
I really struggled to fall asleep and wake up, like when I want to. But I was laying in bed, and I honestly am convinced there was nothing hugely in particular that would have made me react like that.
Yeah.
But I must have been thinking about some sort of things, like just overthinking stuff and thinking about things that have happened to me because I was sober, and like for years I'd been stoned when I'd go to bed, or I'd been drunk.
Yeah,
like I've never
suppressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even when I was working full time, after work I'd smoke and go to bed.
Yeah.
So I was never like fully conscious going to sleep.
Yeah.
So I was more like, I don't know if the right word, but susceptible to overthinking.
Yeah. Aware.
And I was laying in bed and my heartbeat just starts fluttering. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I just sort of like, tried to shake it off.
Yeah.
And then my whole body starts shaking like a crackhead.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally like this, like, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I've tried to stand up, and my head, all the blood from my body has gone to my head. It's gone really hot. I felt like I was bleeding out my ears. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I've jumped out of bed, looked in the mirror, and I'm like, am I having a stroke?
What the hell?
I wasn't.
No, just
I was like,
panic
it all
attack.
looks pretty half symmetrical.
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing's drooping.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm going to be sick. So I went to the toilet, I'm trying to throw up. I can't throw up. and I'm fully panicking. I'm not calming myself down because I'm like, something's really wrong.
Yeah.
Like, something's really bad's going on.
That's the thing, because then you're like, well, there must be a reason
Yeah.
why this is happening.
Yeah, and it was so dramatic, and it went on for hours. And most people that have told me about panic attacks, they don't last that long. But the first one went on for over an hour, and I was like sitting down.
You were on your own as
I was
well?
on my own, yeah. And I tried to wake my neighbour up, but we both had a drink, so she was obviously sound asleep by 3 in the morning.
And
yeah.
you were like running around.
Yeah, and I think it was more than 5 in the morning I was trying to knock on her door.
Yeah.
And I was so scared and convinced I was going to die. Like, I was like, do I call an ambulance? Because it was COVID. And this is when I was like in full, under the impression that COVID was like this horrible, awful thing that everyone was going to die of.
Yeah,
Like, I didn't think that there was a chance people was going to live from it and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was so scared, and I was like, leaving my front door wide open. I was like, someone's going to have to find me. Like, I was so convinced that I was going to die.
That makes me like feel like...
It was awful. It was so bad. Like, I've had panic attacks since, and they were never as bad.
That's so horrible.
It was so scary, and I was sat there, I was trying to play my favourite music, I was trying to play like Liquid D&B, and like, nothing was chilling me out. And then I was like, drinking water, and I felt like I was going to throw it up, and I was like, I'm going to call 999, and I dialed it, and I was like, I don't want to be in a hospital, like, over COVID right now. By the time they get here, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Like, I know it.
If I don't die from this panic attack, I'm going to die from COVID.
Yeah. I was like, I just don't want to die. I was so scared. So I was like, right, what I'm going to do is I positioned my pillow so that I couldn't lay down, because I kept just trying to put myself back to sleep. I thought, I'll die in my sleep. I'll die in my sleep. And I was like, I can't lay down. It's making it 10 times worse. So I had to position my pillows in like a way that I couldn't lay down. So I had to stay sitting up, and I left all the lights on in my house, and I'm like, I'm just going to have to sit this one out. And then I was like, why don't I just Google it? And every single time I've done that, I've regretted Googling it. And I Googled my exact symptoms, and not one of them...
You're dead already.
Yeah, and literally the first thing come up, panic attack. Every single one of them, you're having a panic attack. And I was like, surely I'm just having a heart attack. And they were like, no, if you were having a heart attack, it would not feel anything like that.
Yeah,
You wouldn't be
in
pain.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to move. Your arm would be like paralysed.
Yeah.
Like, it would be really, really different.
Apparent.
So I was like, right. So I just didn't really know how to deal with it. And once I knew, it calmed me down for like 10 minutes. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm still going to do what I'm doing just in case I'm wrong. And then I triggered another one, and it lasted about an hour again after that. And it went on for so long that I actually fell asleep through it.
Yeah.
And then the next morning I was just like fragile. And then I had one every day for about, I don't know, maybe a year. It was awful. But it wasn't as bad.
I can't imagine it.
It was pretty scary.
And how did you, like...
It was actually
deal
Alex.
with that?
Alex actually helped me figure it out.
Yeah. But did you go to the doctor? Like,
Oh, I
how are
went
you
to the
dealing with that
doctors.
now?
So I went to the doctors at the time. Like, obviously I was really scared, and I didn't sleep in my bedroom because it gave me like PTSD.
Yeah.
So, like, because I was just so traumatised from it that every time I'd go in my bedroom, I'd get like a panic attack. And I slept on my sofa for like a whole year. And like, I was still drinking and still doing all this stuff because it was the easiest way to fall asleep, is being a bit tipsy or a bit drunk.
Yeah.
And it was just really, really hard. And then obviously me and Alex went from friends to more than friends, and he ended up staying around a lot more. I don't know what I've done to this bottle. We'll just leave it like that. Yeah, so he was around a lot more, and then when we were like, you know, sleeping in the same bed and being a bit more romantic as such.
Yeah.
Like, every single time we slept in a bed together, I would jump up and wake up like every half an hour because like his hand would be on my back, or I'd just know someone was in my bed, and then I realised that it was obviously something to do with something I'd been through before, as to why I felt like I was being triggered because somebody was in my bed.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's not just... Maybe I was thinking about that when the panic attack happened.
Yeah, maybe it's actually come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd never really dealt with it that much at the time. But then I ended up telling a lot of my friends about it, and I was just like, I need to talk about this.
Yeah.
And they were all just like, well, that person's an asshole. It's nothing about you. It's not to do with you.
What, like the reason that it, like, what triggered them,
Yeah.
like the original like trauma.
Yeah. And then it took months and months of Alex comforting me at night, and then it would go from half an hour to an hour. I'd wake up, and then eventually I just stopped freaking out in my sleep, and now I sleep so much better than I ever have.
Did you ever get like help from a doctor or
So,
an actual professional? Because obviously it is good like when you can talk to people around you, but sometimes it feels like beyond them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's so important to talk about things and stuff, but sometimes this whole like just talk about it, like
It's not as easy.
a way of being. Also, sometimes you just talk about it and someone
Doesn't give you the right advice.
They're not professional, so they can't give you the correct advice. They're not a therapist. It's not like, it's too much for people, or they don't say the right things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to talk to people because you don't have the person that's emotionally intelligent enough to deal with what you're telling them.
Yeah.
Like
with the anxiety stuff, I went to the doctor because it's already on my file that I've got like OCD.
Mm-hmm.
And they said to me, it's probably part of that. They said, it's probably part of that. You're experiencing like health anxiety. So any single muscle that twitches, I'd be like, what's that?
Yeah.
And like my whole health, I was like obsessed with what the hell was going on with my health while I was drinking every night.
Yeah.
So I'm not helping myself.
Yeah.
And the doctors
completely like illogical.
Yeah, and the doctors they gave me ECGs, blood tests. I went on a 24-hour heart monitor, but it was all a very slow process.
Right.
Like for someone that's panicking about it every day and like having a panic attack on a regular basis, like sometimes it got to a point where I was having them at work because I'd be talking about it. And I'd be like, oh, this is just what I'm going through. And then it would trigger one.
Yeah.
And for God's sake. And I'd always feel like they were really dramatic. Even though they were nothing like the first one. I would just always be really terrified of it. And then I'd feel fragile for days. Yeah. I'd be like, oh, I need to not trigger a panic attack. But that's
like anxious about having panic attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just really, really, really hard at the time. And like the doctor, she basically told me... The nurse I had wasn't the best. Like, she's always been my nurse because I go very regularly for my asthma.
Okay.
And she tends to not believe a lot of things I say. So it was really difficult. Like when I went for the anxiety stuff because it was all very dismissed. And then I asked for a second opinion and I went to a doctor and they did the ECG again and another set of blood tests. And they were like, it's all come back fine.
Were they trying to see if there was actually anything like physically wrong?
Oh yeah, which was making me feel worse because they were testing for these things and I thought it was just all in my head. So they're like, oh, we've just got to check. And I'm like, check for what?
Yeah.
But they obviously had to do it just to be sure. And thankfully nothing ever come of it that I know of because they've never told me. They just said, we'll contact you if it's bad. And I was like, right.
Sitting waiting by the phone.
But the second doctor I got a second opinion from, she said, if you want to go through therapy, because that's what I asked for, I said, I'd rather not go through medication unless it's the last resort. I said, I'd rather go through therapy, and just because I can't afford it. It's like £80 a session, minimum. Like, I can't afford that. Unless I know it's the therapist that's suited for me, which is really obviously naive to say, I guess. Is that the right word? I don't know. But like, to find the right therapist is not easy because some people will find you too much because it's not their expertise, and that's fine.
You also have to find the person who's like the right style for you.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many different types of therapy as well.
Oh yeah.
Like, I've done like CBT. I've done that when I was younger. I've done like talk therapy. They're like the main two that I've done.
Yeah.
But and you've got to find the person that's right for you. Like you said, I've always been really lucky, thankfully.
Yeah.
But, like, I know other people that have gone to like the practice that I went to and had someone different and they just didn't get along with it.
Yeah, they didn't get the same vibe, which is a shame because I think therapy should be like as important as going to the dentist and going to the opticians.
Well, yours was affecting your day, like your issues because of what you were going through was affecting like your day-to-day life, and it was becoming like a physical problem. Yeah. Because an anxiety, like a panic attack, is a physical thing that's come from. Oh yeah. Like a mental and emotional thing, and it's like, of course, the two are like not separate.
Yeah.
So of course it should be taken that seriously.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone's ever been depressed or anxious or had those things, you feel ill.
Yeah.
You feel like shit.
Yeah. It's
Like,
awful. Makes you feel really
affects
unwell.
every part of you. So yeah.
Yeah.
You can't separate the two.
And I never managed to get the therapy either.
No.
So they said, like, you know, we'll get you on this list. You'll be able to go to therapy. They said, but you have to take these meds. And I said, I will only think about taking them.
It's like
until...
blackmail.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not going to take them unless I'm going to therapy and my therapist thinks I need them.
Yeah.
Because I think it's more, if I got myself in a situation without medication, how is medication going to get me out of it?
Yeah.
Because what am I going to do when I come off of it?
Yeah.
And I'd also, when I had my migraines, there was another time where I had like a migraine for 2 weeks. So I get really stressed like around Christmas times. That's usually when I get the most ill.
Yeah.
And I was in hospital and they gave me like these pink tablets and they were like, you're going to take 3 of these a day for the rest of your life. And I was like, why? Like, migraine tablets, I don't have them that often anymore. They were like, yeah, but you need them. And I try and trust doctors, but it's really hard to, just because of my own situations I've been through. And I took 2 the first day. I didn't even take 3, I only took 2. And I just felt numb. Like, I felt weird, I felt uncomfortable, and it was terrifying. And like, the next day I went back to work and I took 2 again. Well, first 1 in the morning, 1 midday, and I took 1 in the morning. I'm driving to work and I can't see properly. And I'm like, I cannot focus.
Yeah.
And I'm like driving 45 minutes away from my house. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So the next day I went down to 1 tablet and the same thing happened. So then I ended up coming off them. And about 6 months later I spoke to my doctor about it. She was like, oh, it doesn't even say you've ever had these. And I was like, okay, well, what do I do with these hundreds of tablets I've got?
Yeah.
She was like, just throw them in the bin. I was like, what? I still have them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw them in the bin.
Are they migraine tablets?
They're anxiety tablets.
Right.
So,
okay.
yeah, I thought they were migraine tablets, but I researched them instead.
Right.
Just because they don't always give me the answers.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was just not... This is part of the reason why I have broken trust with doctors, but that's just... Most people don't have the journey that I've had with doctors.
Yeah. It's hard if you've had a lot of health stuff, and some people have never been to hospital. Some people have never had a blood test. Do you know what I mean? So they have no idea.
My first ever blood test was because of anxiety.
Yeah.
Which was so weird.
Yeah.
I want to see my blood.
Yeah. So many people haven't had any experience with like medical professionals or like doctors, or it's just something someone could not understand.
Yeah.
So yeah. I can understand.
Yeah, it was very hard.
Yeah.
And I've had like worse experiences before that as well. So it was just really frustrating because they say don't Google stuff, don't do your own research. But doing my own research has actually benefited me personally.
Yeah.
Like, I don't just read what people comment, I actually look on the right places. And I look
trustworthy sources.
Yeah,
not
and I go
just
for
like Mumsnet.
like Instagram.
Yeah.
But so I obviously tried all these things, and then I still couldn't afford therapy, and I wasn't being called or anything for this list that I was apparently put on, which I'm starting to think I never was put on this list.
Yeah.
So I contacted, at first my best friend contacted the therapist. She said, I'm worried about my friend, she's freaking me out. Like, can you help her? And can you just tell us how much it would be hourly? And they were like, it's £80 an hour. That was the only answer we got. And I was like, it's COVID. I'm like deep in my credit card right now.
Yeah.
I can't afford it. So I just can't do it right now. And like, you know, I was starting to cut back on my drinking at this point. So I was like, maybe I just need to chill the fuck out and try and do all these things. So I set up this, I tried to channel it into my entrepreneurial mind.
Right.
So I set up a business called BurnMyMood, and I started selling like natural remedies.
Okay.
So I use things like essential oils and I burn a lot of incense now.
Yeah.
Although sometimes I forget to open the window and like gas myself out.
Oh, I hate incense. Like, I love how they smell, but then I'm like, I feel like I can't breathe.
Yeah, you definitely got to open a window or have like a fire burning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use a lot of essential oils now, and they definitely do help. But you have to get pure ones, because if you get like diluted ones, they're not that great. Like the one thing I did find that really helped me was like chamomile tea.
Yeah. It's just about finding something that works for you.
Yeah, the first time I tried it tasted awful.
Yeah.
But I was like, put half a sugar in it and just sweeten it up a little.
Yeah.
And like, not even drinking it at first, just like breathing it in, like the steam off it. I was like, oh my god, I feel calm already.
Yeah.
And like, I was still having a panic attack, but it was just numbed a bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so good. I wonder how many other teas I would like. I never really experimented that much, but I know like there's so many other natural herbal remedies that you can try that actually do benefit you massively.
And just exercise and stuff like that.
Definitely.
Exercise, eating well. Like I'd say to anyone who was in a really, 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 really bad place, the first way to get out of it is just exercise, start eating well, start spending more time outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
And once you start to work on those things, you'll be amazed how quickly you start to feel better.
Yeah.
But it's just hard, because if you're in a really bad place, sometimes you don't even have the strength to do those things. And you just get in like a cycle of like eating shit, don't want to exercise, don't want to go outside. But I think when I look after my body, like my mind is like looked after as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's just hard to get yourself even in that place of being able to do that stuff sometimes.
One thing I did do though is I actually started studying CBT.
Okay.
So I was like, I can't afford it, so I'll just figure out what they do.
Yeah.
And it did help. I never finished the course, but I did like a few exams and I passed all of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I understand what it is they're trying to teach you. So they're trying to like get you to understand what is going on, and that most things you're worrying about are in the future. And like the relationships between people sometimes are not healthy.
Yeah, and it's also finding like it's like evidence based, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you're worried about this. Where's the evidence to be like worried about?
Where's
that?
the receipts?
Where's the reasoning to like? It's like when you know, if you're anxious and you feel like everyone hates me. Okay, let's look at the facts.
Yeah.
Like,
do they hate you? No.
No. They talk to me. Like this. Oh, they didn't text me back. Okay, let's think of why they maybe didn't text you back. With like, and it's like a research kind of scientific like approach to it. I know that it doesn't work for everyone. I had it when I was really young and it worked really well for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, it's really good.
But
I definitely think it's really good. Yeah. I hope that one day I'm in a bit of a better financial situation, and then I will be going to therapy.
Or that like our government better funds at NHS and mental health services, and people don't have to be rich to access these things.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect thing.
Yeah.
That our government puts money into more money into healthcare services, mental health care services, and people can access that, because at the minute people can't.
No.
Like, I'm on the waiting list for my operations that I had last year. Like, they left me with a lot of they had an impact on my mental health.
Absolutely.
And I'm on the waiting list now to get therapy for that. And like you said, I mean, I got put on the list I think like 6 months ago. Haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
And my situation was quite extreme to be able to like get help, and yeah, haven't heard anything, still waiting.
Yeah.
Don't know if I'm on the list, don't know if I'm 200 on the list, second on the list, don't know when that might happen, but I know that like all these services are absolutely like rammed. Yeah.
And I feel like you know, there's these apps that people use now called like BetterHelp.
I keep seeing adverts for this, and I don't know if that is like something legit.
Oh,
or...
it definitely is.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that use it.
Oh,
and
really?
You can like, say for instance, you're not feeling your therapist. You don't have to confront them about it. You can just replace
like
them.
Tinder.
Yeah.
Unmatch. Like Tinder for therapists.
Yeah. You can like, it's not like a bitter thing. They understand that if they don't feel like they're helping you, that is that's their understanding that, okay, that's fine, I'd rather you had someone better.
Yeah.
But they can just find you with someone that's more appropriate. And you can like book in the sessions whenever you want. You don't have, it's just done over Skype. Skype? I don't know. A video call. But it's a really, really good website. It's still the same price. But like,
but isn't it cheaper than like
I've heard it is. I'm not too sure.
I'm sure it's cheaper than like going and spending like £80 on like an hour session. I keep hearing it being advertised. I don't know how like good it is. I've never used it, and I don't even know anyone who's used it. So
yeah,
but maybe that's something to.
Yeah, I know quite a few people that use it. So I know it is definitely legit. Because at first it was just like a thing that loads of celebrities were promoting.
Yeah, and I'm always really like wary of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anytime something's being advertised to me, I'm like, why is this being advertised?
Yeah.
What benefit? Like, who is this benefiting?
Yeah, I think the most reliable things I've seen on TikTok are where they're not ads. When people are like, I literally bought this, look at it. Like, look what it does.
But you
and they
say
show
that,
it.
but then people do that, and they
As a job.
are ads.
Yeah.
So you never know, because I've heard that so many things are ads that you don't think. So every time I look at something now, I'm like, ad. I just feel like I'm constantly like being advertised.
I really like it when you have those creators that do honest reviews where they're like, this was shit.
Yeah, this is horrible, don't I?
But people still buy it because they're like, but was it shit?
Yeah, and then
like,
you get someone replying to it saying, no, you're not using it the right way, or at
least that way you get a bit more of an authentic review out of it.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I like seeing. I find it entertaining anyway.
Yeah.
Test out stuff I don't need to.
Yeah.
Like those boxes that chop up your food. Have you seen them?
No.
So like there's like this viral kitchen tool.
Oh god.
And
there's like something new every week.
I know.
I go on and it's like the viral joggers, the viral this, the viral, I'm like,
just buy them on Amazon for £10.
Yeah. I'm like, no, bullshit, I don't need.
Yeah. And these boxes, I was saying like, oh, I really, really want one of them because it just chops your food really easy apparently. Okay. And then I'm watching people actually use them and they're already chopping most of it up to put in it. And I'm like, we'll just carry on.
Yeah, just keep going, save yourself some money.
Yeah, why are you buying like a £20 to £30 box that has a bit of a blade on the top that just chops it up more when you can just carry on?
Gonna like kill all of us. We're gonna forget how to do everything. So we're just gonna have little like.
What are we gonna do if like there's like an apocalypse?
Yeah. No. Convenience is like.
And I say that as a joke, but I actually wouldn't know how to survive without half the stuff I have.
No, of course no one would.
Like I don't know how to like I know how to cook food and that. Like
well done.
On like a
so.
like on a camping thing.
You were 19.
And like I don't know how to like make shelters and stuff. Like if anything ever got like that.
Yeah.
Like, if we went back in time and I had to like.
I hope we don't get.
I hope we don't. No.
Fingers crossed.
I also remember seeing on your Instagram that you used to do, you probably still do, painting.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. Yeah. Do you do that like as a thing all the time?
Yeah, I love painting. Like I said, I did an art and design year and loved that. But I just decided uni wasn't right for me at that point in time. I would actually love to go back and study and do an art degree later in life, maybe not right now, but maybe in the future. But yeah, I feel like I'm a very creative person, and like people have different ways of like processing things and hobbies, and that is mine. Like I love painting, I love creating anything. Like I journal always, write always, just sketch.
Do you make like blogs at all?
I don't blog or anything like that. I mean, I just have my Instagram. Sometimes if I'm feeling something, I'll put a longer post on there, but I haven't done that in a while. But yeah, I have my journals. I've kept journals since I first started travelling. So I've got 4 years worth of journals now that document my whole life. I always think if I have kids, I'll give them to my kids. Oh. Yeah.
That would be really nice.
It's got like my whole life in there. The good, the bad. And just like the boring and the mundane as well. Yeah. I love writing, I love painting, creating. That's a big thing for me, personally. That's, Is
it all like, it's self-inspiration, or do you get inspiration from other places?
Oh God, everything. Inspired by everything. Just everyday things, all my travels, all the things I've seen, other artists, stuff I see on Instagram, stuff I see on Pinterest. Yeah, I can take an inspiration from anything. Yeah. But most of the time when I do a big canvas, an idea just comes to me. It's like, when you're in the flow, and something just, you have this idea and then sometimes I manage to execute it.
Sometimes I watch those videos where artists will film themselves doing the painting,
Yeah.
and I could sit there for hours watching these paintings
Yeah.
come to light. There is someone I actually follow, I can't remember what her name is now, but she does like
Time-lapse videos.
stuff like that, yeah. And she, the most recent collection she did, it was like in the shape of a heart, but her art is like so expressive, like it's just so like, I can't explain it, it's like it can explode of paint.
Yeah.
And it's like on these little canvases, and she made like a few of them.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so fascinating how
Yeah.
like they're all so very similar but so different. And I love all of that sort of stuff. But it's just me personally, I'm not very creative.
No, but you say that. I honestly believe that everyone is creative.
I think
in
when I was
some form,
younger,
because how can you say that what you're doing here is not creative?
I feel like it's more directing.
No, yeah, but that is creative. That's coming from
Kind
like
of.
a creative place of you have this idea and this vision, and now you're like executing it. I think everyone has different ways they're creative. 100%. I think like the main thing of life is to be creative for me.
Absolutely.
And there's so many different ways you can be creative. And I think people think of being creative and they think of painting, art, being good at drawing. I don't see it like that. I think like anything with film, photography. I think cooking is creative. When people like make recipes and make beautiful food and like have these ideas. You know, I think
I wish I knew more about cooking.
Things are creative.
Because I'm not the best.
Neither am I. Neither am I. My mum is an amazing, amazing chef. And so is my best friend. So they've always cooked for me. They've always cooked for me, and I'm just like, why would I? And they love it. I don't love cooking.
I don't love cooking.
I've always had partners that were good at cooking. And yeah, my mum, my best friends, I don't love cooking myself. And I find it really hard to cook for myself. When I was travelling and like, there'd be like 6 of us, I'll be like, yeah, I can cook. When I can cook for 6 people, I can do it.
Yeah, because it's like you don't have to measure everything.
When I've lived in situations where I lived with loads of other people, I loved cooking for everyone. When it comes to just cooking for myself, I can't be bothered.
Oh, I'm the same.
I'm like, no.
Yeah, there's no motivation.
Yeah.
And like by the time I've cooked the meal, I'm probably not as hungry because I've eaten half of it.
Yeah, I'm such a snacker. Yeah. No, cooking's not my bag. I can cook. I can cook. I can like, of course, I can make nice food. I would say, but yeah, it's not my jam.
Yeah, I was never really taught to cook though.
No.
Like I just when I first moved out, I was like, what the fuck am I gonna make?
Yeah.
So I learned how to perfect spag bowl. I had it every day.
Yeah.
Until I like found how much I liked it. So that's the only thing I could say no one can outdo me on. But apart from that,
that's your like signature.
Yeah, that's my signature.
Yeah.
Because I put like extra stuff in it, and it's got so much flavour in. Whereas it's usually just quite a tomato-y kind of dish.
Yeah.
Whereas I add loads of flavour in it.
Nice.
And I don't like spicy stuff either.
Oh, I love it. Well,
I like the flavour.
Yeah.
But like, I wasn't raised eating spicy stuff because my mum doesn't like it either.
Okay.
So I find it really
You
uncomfortable.
don't have like the taste. Yeah, I didn't like spicy stuff, and then when I like lived in like Thailand and all these places, even if you say to them like a little bit of spice, just a little bit, you're like, because the food there was so spicy.
Yeah.
So there I was just like, man,
I guess I'm just gonna have to like it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to learn to love spicy stuff. And now I quite like spice.
Yeah. No, I've always been told if I keep eating it, I'll like it more. So like sometimes I'll like, if there's like chili flakes and stuff, I'm like, well, if I eat it, it'll be alright. But I'm still at the end like.
Yeah. Like nose is running, eyes are running. No, I love that. I'm like,
No, I'm the same sometimes, but I just can't hack it.
No.
I used to be so bad. I used to not even be able to eat like regular sausages because peppercorns. You know,
I have a friend that's like this. She'll eat something and she's like,
it's got pepper in it.
This is so spicy, and I'm like, this is the blandest shit I ever tasted. Like, are you kidding me?
That's so me.
Like, she can have ginger. She's like, ginger is fine. But literally, even if I put a bit too much pepper, she's like, oh, it's a bit spicy.
Yeah, I'm like, same with pepper. And to be fair, I find ginger quite spicy, but I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have
it's like
as
a
much
different
of
kind
a burn.
of, yeah.
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 Like when my gut's really bloating and that, and I'm going for a bit of a moment, I tend to do a lot of ginger shots.
Oh, I love ginger. I love
it
ginger.
Burns. I'm like,
I love it. Love it.
But
Love
it's really
ginger.
good for you. I wish I could like experiment more, but again, I don't like cooking that much.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I really want to sit there and experiment? No.
Yeah, it's just not my bag. No.
Yeah.
Just get friends that can cook. Get friends, get a partner, just have other people in your life that can cook.
Yeah, I used to say to myself when I was younger, when I used to be really driven to get like the best in the corporate world kind of job.
Right.
I used to be like, I'm going to be so rich I can have my own cook.
Yeah.
And then it's just unrealistic, isn't it?
You never know. Also,
Could one
life
day.
can change in the blink of an eye.
That's true.
So you never know. Keep reaching
Manifest
for,
it.
Yeah,
I'm going to have my own cook.
Yeah.
Alex is quite a good cook though.
There you go, you've got one.
Yeah.
You've already got one.
Master chef.
Done.
But then sometimes he's the same as me and he's like, should we just get takeaway? And I'm like, but I don't actually want takeaway.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say no because I'm hungry.
Yeah. That's what I love about like being around Maya and my mum. Like, yeah, they're always, you know, when you're just craving like a hot, like home cooked, like
Oh yeah.
cozy meal. Yeah.
And it just tastes fresh.
And someone else cooking for you is like love.
Oh yeah.
When I come
Absolutely.
in, like I've come in the past week and like my partner had cooked for me, and I feel like, oh, that is so good. Coming in from
so
work and
attractive.
there being food for you,
Absolutely.
like a home cooked meal, and you don't have to worry. That is like someone saying like, I love you.
Yeah.
I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, I'm offering you
Yeah,
my
like
devotion forever.
Yeah, via this plate. Yeah, no, someone cooking for you is the nicest thing. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is. And you don't realise it when you're younger. It's only like as you're older you're like, wow, you made so much effort just to make me smile.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it when someone cooks.
Same. Can do
Have you got any projects this year that you're going to be working on? Maybe going travelling again?
I definitely, yeah. I'm a bit, I don't want to say lost, but I'm at a point where I'm like, want to move forward, but I still want to keep travelling, but I kind of want to put roots down somewhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love Portugal. I'm keeping my van 100%. She needs some work doing to her. So
as all cars do.
Yeah. Painful.
Maintenance is tough.
So I'm going to spend a bit of money on getting her. She's got some mechanical things wrong with her, and then I'm going to like.
Is she a Ford?
Ford Transit.
Yeah, Fords are good.
Mm-hmm.
Parts
They
are much
are.
cheaper than other cars.
Yeah,
I've got
because
a
they're
Ford
so
now.
common.
It's
as
so much
well.
better.
Yeah, love it. But yeah, she's got some issues that need fixing. And then I'm going to like redo some of her interior just because it's been lived in, so it's wear and tear and it's just needs some love.
Yeah.
Need to give her a good clean, repaint, get some new like furnishings and flooring. And then I would like, yeah, for sure I'm going to go somewhere in the van again. I just don't know where that's going to be.
Yeah.
Before I was thinking of going and moving to not to Portugal, to Cornwall for a while and finding work there and living there in the van. But now I'm thinking maybe I want to go back to Portugal.
Yeah. It's
in the
nice
van.
and hot girl summer over there.
Yeah, it's so nice over there and I love it and the way of life and just everything. But I don't know, also have to be realistic and yeah, I don't know. I definitely still want to travel. There's so many places I still want to go to.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need to like do it all.
Yeah.
I want to go to India. I've been to Morocco, but I'd like to go to some other places in Africa. And I've never been to South America, Latin America. So I'd love to go to like Mexico, Brazil, like some places there.
Yeah.
And I'd also love to go back to like Thailand and Vietnam. So there's so many places I still want to travel. I don't see me doing like a big jerk trip this year because I'm trying to sort things out a little bit to make things, like try and make some roots this year and have a base somewhere.
Yeah.
So try and either find a property in like England or Portugal, and definitely want to travel more in the van, for sure. I'd like to. So I do my massage. My massage business, which I'd like to work on, but I'd like to train in more stuff.
Yeah.
Like I always love learning still and developing, so I'd love to do like some more courses and like develop that a little bit more and
I'll definitely have to get booked in for a massage.
Yeah.
I never have enough.
Yeah.
I've only had like I think 2 or 3 in my life.
They're so important.
And they always say to me, you have to keep doing it.
Yeah, once people get them, you realise how much you need it. But they're just not. It's just not affordable to people to get them all the time. So it's hard.
It's just another method of therapy, though. I feel like every time I go, I feel better for going.
Yeah, of course. So important on so many levels.
And I've never been to the same therapist because I always try different massages.
Yeah.
So like one time I was in Leighton Buzzard. I just went through a aromatherapy massage, so it was a lot more tame.
Chill.
Yeah. And just there was nice scents in the air and I felt really relaxed. Oh no, I think I've had 4 because I went to a spa once and I had like a neck, back and shoulder. I don't know if that's the right one.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
The first one I had was a deep tissue and I was in pain.
I love it. Like, I love like strong massages.
It was really good.
Like, I've had like Swedish massages and I feel like they're just like stroking you. I'm like, no, get in there.
Break some bones.
Yeah, because I do Thai massage, which is like quite strong. Well, it doesn't have to be, but generally it's like quite a deep massage.
Yeah.
So I love it. And when I was when I was staying in Thailand, you can get a massage for like £5.
What?
So I was getting a massage like every other day.
Yeah.
And the ladies doing the massage there are strong.
Yeah.
Like, whew. You're like looking at them, they're tiny, so petite, gorgeous, and then I'm tall and I'm quite like big, like, and then they're like brutal. I'm like, how do you have this much power? Like, almost crying, but I love that. And then after you're like, feel brand new. Yeah, but I'd love to do some more training and like do that kind of thing with my own business. And I'd love to look into like a property and just start putting down some roots. But honestly, I have no like idea where this year's going to take me yet. Like, I feel like anything could happen.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I just want to be healthy, happy,
that's the important
stable
things.
And I've actually got a lot of stuff like going on in England this year. Like, I've got a best friend's wedding, I've got another family wedding, so I feel
I'm gonna stick around for a bit.
I have stuff that's keeping me here and that I want to be around for.
I
mean, I can always get a quick flight back from somewhere, but we'll just see. We'll just see.
No, that's all really exciting though. And is there like anything on social media that you want to promote just for the people watching?
No, I guess just like I always feel like I should share more travel stuff because I just don't. Like, when I went on this trip, I was like, I'm going to share so much recommendations, put together all this stuff, and I would like to this year put something together, like an ebook or something that has, like, I've had all these experiences and I don't know how I can like make it into something like teachable or shareable. But there's just like my personal Instagram at daisy.bl.
I think you share a lot of stuff as well. Like, it really motivates me.
So I've got my personal Instagram, which I try to share. Like, my Instagram is not all just like selfies. I try to share stuff about the places I've been and like the experiences and
And you provide a lot of advice as well.
So there's my personal Instagram, and then I just obviously have my massage business and stuff. That's Serenity Treatments on Instagram. But I would love to put together an ebook at some point this year with just like recommendations of Portugal or some kind of like travel stuff. Because I feel like I have all this information, all this knowledge, and I'm like keeping it to myself. I'm like, I want to share that. Don't even want to like.
It's not like you're holding it back. It's like you just want to. It's a lot of work as well.
Yeah, but I want to do something with that because I feel like I have a lot of knowledge and experience in travelling, especially like solo travel as a woman.
Absolutely.
Because I've always done my trips solo. That's a big thing. Always done my trips solo as a like.
Is there anything you'd say to people to like look out for as a solo traveller? You know, like in the UK, we're like, don't walk around at night. Because you're a woman. Which is awful.
Don't exist because you're female. No, just I've honestly not, like, I've been so blessed with like my experiences. Like,
that's nice.
So but people will say to me, oh my god, Thailand, these places, aren't they dangerous? I'm like, do you know how dangerous London is? I'm like, walking around at night in London is more dangerous than probably going to like Vietnam and Cambodia. Like,
so
in
true.
all seriousness. So
the amount of things that can happen to you just from walking down the street in London.
So as long as you've got your wits about you here. And yeah, I guess if you go travelling, I guess I didn't really drink and party that much, so I can't advise people on that, but be careful with that kind of stuff.
Definitely, and that's where people tend to be the most vulnerable.
Yeah, and you lose your judgment and
is it intuition?
Yeah, you're no, what's the word?
You knew what I meant though, right?
I want to say have you inhibitions.
It's something like that.
Inhibitions, not intuition. You lose your inhibitions, and so maybe just be careful with that kind of stuff, and always tell people where you are. Just the normal things to be safe.
Do you always send your family your location and stuff like that?
Yeah, someone knows where I am, where I'm staying, and that kind of stuff.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Is that the Find My iPhone stuff, or is it a separate app?
Find My Friend,
something like that.
There's something like that. But just to, don't be stupid.
Yeah.
Be safe, but it's hard being a woman anywhere in the world.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's exhausting. I was saying this the other day, that I used to walk around silly clock at night when I was younger by myself, on the way home from Dean's Hangout or something like that. And now I wouldn't even do that. No. I wouldn't even dream of it.
No, but I was so nice when I was in Portugal. My partner has an English Bull Terrier.
Aww.
A massive English Bull Terrier that looks so scary and is so protective. And I'd be walking her at night, walking around the city that I didn't even know, feeling so safe.
Yeah.
And I'd never had that before. I was I'm out at night walking around the city on my own.
Oh, I love that.
Because no one could do anything to me with her there.
No.
So I was
Dogs
loving
are
it.
The best blessing we'll ever have.
Yeah. So I felt that was such a nice experience. But yeah. Just do your research.
Yeah.
Be smart.
And I'll probably put your links below in the description as well, so that people can find your page.
That's fine. Also, don't be ignorant. Research the places you're going. Learn about the culture before you get there.
Yeah.
And don't think you know everything. Listen to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be ignorant to other people's culture and be open and that kind of thing.
Because things we get offended for here, they're going to get offended for there.
Yeah. And there's different things, there's different...
And we're rude here.
Yeah, there's different things, there's different customs, and if you're going somewhere, the minimum you should do is research about that.
Yeah.
And learn how to say hello and thank you.
Absolutely.
Least. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, just stuff like that.
Thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I hope you come on again.
Yeah.
Maybe next time you come back, or if... I don't know. I
Who knows
got
what
a plan.
I'm going to do.
I'm doing the same sort of thing. I'm winging everything.
Yeah, winging life.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone I spoke to was in the same boat.
Yeah.
I'm what are you doing this year? Don't know. Just seeing where life takes me. Perfect.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's less pressure doing it that way, because I'm so tired of planning things and I'm not going to plan.
Oh.
And I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So even if I'm doing it but it's not going to plan, I'm no.
You have to just go with the flow.
Hence why I didn't script this. I was
there you go, and it's worked out.
Yeah, I feel really good about it.
Just live in the flow.
Yeah, and each episode I filmed has felt better than the last. I felt like I've got more confident. I forget that we're being filmed.
Yeah.
And it's just
I know, I'm trying not to look.
Yeah, don't look. Because I know for successful podcasts, they're all filmed.
Yeah.
And then, if this is ever successful, which
it will be.
Yeah, it will be.
It is successful.
It's successful now.
It is.
I'm going to be able to get a proper camera crew.
Manifest.
The magic.
100 million listens.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get a actual camera crew and have multiple cameras for all the right angles, and then I'll pay someone to do all the hard stuff. Because
I love that.
I'm just winging it.
Yeah, the best way.
Yeah, because the only things here is this stuff. That's mine actually, but that and that is not mine.
Yeah.
They're Alex's.
Yeah, love that.
It's the first time I tried it. The first time I tried to do it, all the stuff I used did not work.
No.
It just kept cutting off
But
when I
I've
was
listened
filming.
to your podcast though, and the sound is so good.
Thank you.
It's so relaxing. I like. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
I am still going to do some solo episodes.
You should.
Just because I feel like I can just talk shit for hours.
It's probably like therapy for you, know?
Yeah, sometimes. And I feel like I can talk really in depth about things, whereas if I'm talking to someone, I'm very, very empathetic, so I pay attention to their reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they don't want to talk about that.
They're bored.
Yeah, they don't like it. So
Yeah.
I just sort of change conversation. I can tell without them even saying.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm by
Like
myself...
super hyper vigilant.
Oh yeah. And I can like dig very deep in
Yeah.
like in conversations by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist.
Oh god, great.
So like, sometimes I
None of
dig
that.
so deep into things. I'm like,
No, I
is it?
can't do that.
It gives me anxiety
yeah,
sometimes.
I don't do that kind of stuff because otherwise I'm like, what is real?
Yeah.
And I'm like laying there like,
Yeah, and there's awful
everything's a
stuff.
lie.
in this
I'm
world.
living in a simulation.
Yeah.
Like,
There's so many
absolutely
ways.
spinning out.
I know. And sometimes like the world is like not what we think it is, and I'm like, oh my god.
No,
So sometimes I just cut it all out because
Yeah.
I'm like.
Head in the sand.
Yeah,
Perfect.
because when I'm deep in it, I start asking people like, "Have you heard about this?" And they're like, "I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
It makes me
Shut
anxious." And I'm like, "Okay, maybe I need to stop talking about it because I'm actually affecting other people."
Yeah.
It's not just about how I perceive life. It's like
Yeah.
other people don't want to hear it.
No.
Like
Your
people like being
conspiracies to yourself.
people like being ignorant. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
It's like it's safer that way.
It's
We'd all be
nice.
happier.
Yeah. Perfect.
But thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, you're
I've really
welcome.
enjoyed
It's been
having
really
you.
Nice.
And I've really enjoyed like getting to know you better as well. Because it's really nice. You're my influencer. I know you don't probably want to be called that, but
No.
like your idea, like not your idea, your lifestyle is what I've always dreamed of.
Yeah.
I've just never been in a position to do the leap and
I
take
hope
that
that
plunge.
you can though. It's
Me
like
too. COVID fucked me right over.
yeah, fuck you, COVID. But I hope that you can get to a point. Like I always say, life can change in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
You literally never know what is around the corner, good and bad. You know, so
Absolutely.
and life can change in so much in 6 months.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like
I hope that it
sometimes
gets to
I
that
think
point.
about, you know, like 5 years ago, what was I doing? And I'm like, oh my god, completely different to what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And it's so weird.
Well, like yeah, even me with my travels. Like 7 months before, I was in a hospital bed, unable to even drink water, and then I was like traveling in my van,
Sure.
and I was like, that's how quickly life can change.
Yeah.
Like whatever situation you're in, life could be completely different in like 6 months' time.
Yeah.
So if you're in a shit situation, just know that it can change.
Yeah,
it can change.
it does.
And, yeah.
And you can sort of
Life
make
is about up and downs.
Mhm.
It's like that. Life is like that, and it's fun when it's like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, okay.
If you guys want to subscribe to the podcast, make sure you hit every single interaction button there is available, because how else is it gonna be successful without you? And thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you later. Bye.
For the sheer scope of grief and wasted human potential, we